Cuphead is the newest action platformer which is inspired by rubber hose animation from the 30s and was released on the 29th of September 2017 on Xbox and PC. Since it's still very new, this review is entirely spoiler free, so I'll only be using footage from the first map of the game. This is my first review, so a few things may be a bit off focus, and for that I apologize in advance, though I will try not to digress from the topic in discussion. I will be splitting this review into a few parts, those being the story, music, graphics, gameplay, and difficulty. So without further ado, let's get right to it. The story seems like a simplistic 30s Mickey Mouse or Betty Boop cartoon where something really odd happens, and I mean really odd. The main characters are in peril, and all they have to do to get out of trouble is to do something even weirder. Here, the peril is that our protagonists, Cuphead and Mugman, lose a game of dice against the devil, and now he owns their souls. When they beg for their souls to be returned to them, he gives them one simple way to recover them. This must be done by getting all the contracts from the characters on the island who've lost their souls to the devil as well. Quite simple, isn't it? Well, that's the whole point. There isn't a special requirement to understand the story and its deeper meaning, though I'm pretty sure there is one, but that's a video for another day. So now, to get back their souls, they must go past Inkwell Isle 1, Inkwell Isle 2, then 3, and then ultimately to Inkwell Hell to face off against their greatest foe. That's it for the story. Now let's get into the music. The music is probably, definitely, and most certainly my absolute favorite part of the entire game. I'd go as far as comparing it to the music of Undertale or Shovel Knight. The music, as composed by Christopher Madigan, is very, very reminiscent of what I like to call cartoon jazz, and the classic barbershop music that introduces you to the title screen of the game is everywhere. The boss level music is more instrumental, but still heavily inspired by jazz and executed in the same manner and with the same finesse. The graphics, as I mentioned before, are inspired by 30s rubber hose animation. Rubber hose because their limbs look like garden hoses made of rubber. The animation is flowy and bendy, and that adds this perky character even to the most horrible and terrifying bad guys. Some of these bosses are nightmare fuel, and for good reason too. I mean, let's be fair, if the devil had my soul, I'd be pretty pissed off too. Probably look like a husk of nothingness. The animation is such that every emotion is conveyed in a very strong manner. You know when a boss is upset, you know when a boss is being cheeky, you know when a boss is hurt, and you know a boss is horribly angry when they go berserk by their last phase. It has this old-timey effect filter which makes it seem like it's made on the early film rolls from back in the day, and that adds to the authenticity and aesthetic of the game. The colors used are vibrant, the character design is phenomenal, and the expressions convey what they have to, and we all know most games can't do that. Fun fact, each and every one of these frames are watercolored and hand-drawn. Yes, that's right. So if we got any delays, it was probably worth it because the people behind the animation took a long time to perfect what they created. And I'm glad they did. The game is a treat for the eyes and an absolute masterpiece in animation. The tutorial is the easiest part. I know, haha, there was that one guy who probably had a hard time with it, but everything after that is Rage Down 2.0. And believe me when I say, when you play this game, you will rage. Yes, I do love a hard game, but this sort of crosses the line at times. You may feel like it's a cheap shot that Cuphead and Mugman have only 3 hit points each, and every point of damage you take takes away 1 hit point. Though there's an upgrade to get it to 4 hit points, but it comes with a penalty. And this is where trial and error comes into the game. Since every stage and every boss has a learning curve, you will spend a lot of time trying not to get hit in every subsequent phase. To put it simply, you will first die in phase 1, then progress onto phase 2 without dying, and then die there. Then not take any damage till phase 3 on your third try and die there. And this goes on and on until you beat the boss. And the bosses usually have 4 to 5 phases towards the end of the game. But it's alright as long as you learn, and learn. Most of the boss moves have tracking, so you have to be alert and dodge as many moves as possible. It also involves shooting constantly, and by that I mean do not get your hands off the shoot button. This helps take down most enemies in your path and is very effective against bosses as well. The run and gun levels are probably the low points of the game for me personally, with an unusually odd difficulty variation. For example, the first run and gun level in the game is probably the toughest for me, but as soon as I got to Inkwell Isle 2 and Inkwell Isle 3, the run and gun levels started to get easier. These levels are the only source of coins, and coins are the currency in the game. If you want to buy upgrades from Pokrine's shop, you need to collect these coins. Each run and gun level has 5 coins, and some can be a challenge to collect. Though the whole point is for it to be a challenge, it just feels like extra work with little to no payoff. But that's just my opinion. Upgrades are pretty varied and offer a plethora of weapons and charms. Clearing mausoleums offers you a super move which is unique to when the characters are on foot. I say on foot because there are levels in the air in which Cuphead and Mugman have airplanes that shoot Nerf gun bullets and later chuck bombs at enemies. These levels were the ones that I most enjoyed and were the most enthusiastic to play. I don't know why, but the plane levels are crazy good. The footage may only show one plane level boss, but believe me, they get much better. Some of the bosses and most run and gun levels have platforming sections to keep the player busy and alert. The parry mechanic lets you increase your super meter and works well since you can only parry things that are pink in color. So mashing the parry button is not advised. And we all know where else it's not advised. The parry mechanic also lets you revive your partner while playing in co-op. If your partner dies, their ghost floats up, and if you parry it at the right moment, you can get them back into the game. I haven't really played this on co-op, though I'd love to when given the chance. Overall, I'd say the gameplay is absolutely tight. It's super responsive and every mistake you make is your own. You can't blame the controller or the keyboard for not responding to a button press. And this is what makes the game tough but fair, and this is exactly why I love it. In conclusion, Cuphead is a breath of fresh air. It's magnificent to look at, magnificent to listen to play, and to enjoy with a friend in your free time. It could easily be one of the best games I've played all year. That being said, it does have its flaws, but those can easily be overlooked for me to give this game a great score. And my score is 10 cups out of 8 kettles. Take that score as you may, but do not miss out on this game. Buy it, play it with a friend, play it alone, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd really like to know what you think. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend ahead. Until next time.